You must have seen these photos before, either on television or in bookshare at train stations. They are delicate, dreaming, seemingly distant from your life, yet trying to convince you to remember the unnameable cultural connotations. You are drawn to an exoticism, or perhaps in archives and documentaries, in newspaper reports, you have seen official publications and real-time images. They are serious, complete, and unfolding. You close the book and suddenly have a deeper understanding. I once tried to create a cultural archive about my hometown. These materials, describing actual places and events like evidence, convinced me of their validity. However, the opposite of truth is not only the falsehood of forgery, but also the fiction of language. Truth might never be complete. The person providing evidence always has a position. As Gayatri Chakravarti once said, as the historical record is made up, who is dropped out, when and why. So who is behind the camera? Who narrates history? When only one voice emerges, other voices are always drowned out. Re-examining these materials, I learned from Lucasburg to seek the political landscapes behind them. I saw an exotic land and other. The cultural symbols are localized in the infinite reproduction of the mechanized era. They are stripped of their specific context, the meanings no longer important. They drift in mainstream discourse, full of ethnic characteristics, yet increasingly hollow, and had all become normal and everyday. The fiction in local archives intertwines with the dominant cultural fiction of the local, as seen with the drawn ethnic minority and the history of sinicization. Just as Cephalad instrumentalized disorder as anti-order in his anti-encyclopedia, I hope to use fiction as a tool in a pseudo-archive to question the empirical authority of archives, representing an often overlooked ways in historical records. In Venice in Two Acts, Saidiya Hartman proposed critical fabulation, a method of entering and critically reading historical archives through fiction, the process of which also resists the limits of the archive. In this project, fiction is my method to voice my position in the real-world issues, to inspire missing historical perspectives, making this archive to narrate a history written with and against the archive. Now, you have a renewed archive. As initially conceived, it covers all aspects of the Zhuang ethnic minority in Guangxi. Nature, culture, history, policies, costumes. You could almost say how well you know the Zhuang, because you must have seen this travel brochure, with its glossy surface, vivid pictures, and exaggerated words, showcasing the uniqueness of this place. Because you must have seen this yellowed archive, whose text proudly tells how the central government established an autonomous minority region here, and whose pictures witness people's shares in history. Because you must have seen these newspaper clippings in craft paper bags, strictly typeset, recording important decisions with formal language. But among countless copies, have you ever seen such a travel brochure, in which cruel photographs are sporadically pasted, scribbling in the margin notes of a mediocre life? Have you found such a historical archive, filled with childish doodles that seem to narrate a parallel forgotten story, incompatible with the printed text? Have you ever found some crumpled notes in the middle of those neat policies, like some helpless moments you decided never to revisit, discarded, and then forgotten? Perhaps you never knew how your life was influenced by the brief sentence in the government document. Now, you finally realize that you are a product of modernization and cultural integration. On the encyclopedic chessboard, you engage in the game with no winner between the two cultures you belong to. You turn and turn, constantly shifting perspectives. Time and again, you gain your history, present, and future, not yet integrated, not yet divided. Ursula K. Le Guin believed that rather than seeing science fiction as a prediction of the future, it is a metaphor for reality. Similarly, I almost self-directingly wade into historical archives, not with the purpose of filling in or restoring the missing parts of the history, but with the hope that this practice could serve as a metaphor, a trigger, a critical reflection on archives, history, and the other.